Okay, I'd like
You're
to
good.
call tonight's meeting to order. Has everybody had a chance to take a look at the minutes from the April 28th board meeting?
Yes.
I'm gonna have a cricket sound effect that I'm gonna be able to pop in every once in a
I
while.
heard Fran say yes.
Yes, I
Yes.
said yes.
Any corrections, omissions, errors, anything that needs to be addressed?
No,
Okay. Then we will accept those as written. Okay. All right, number 2. Bid opening for vehicle maintenance. I have 2 bids here. Both unopened, one from Jerome Fire Equipment and the other from Priority, I think. Why do I not see a from address on this? Well, I guess I'll find out who it's from when I open it. So this is for vehicle maintenance for the fire trucks, right, Greg? Is there anything else that needs to be explained for that?
No, pretty much general maintenance and emergency repairs.
Okay, so it's just the 2 bids.
So the
Opening.
general maintenance on the fire equipment is done twice a year, usually in June and December, just so the new board members know. And that's basically what this, as Greg said, this bid is for. So.
Okay. So the first bid is from Priority Fire Apparatus and Service Center LLC. I guess I'll read this off. I guess I'll just read the totals off. Their proposed total for June 2021 services of PT 24 and Squad 24 as listed, $1,617. Their total for December 2021 services of PT 24, Squad 24, and Tower 24 listed above, $2,835. And I assume, Greg, these were as per your specifications.
Yes, yep,
We'll
that's
verify
generally-
that after the meeting. I don't want to, we probably won't be approving too much
Greg
tonight.
approved the bid before it went out. He looked through it and made sure it was all what we needed.
Okay, so it looks like they broke this down into 2 separate things. The first line item was June 2021 services of PT 24 and Squad 24 was $1,617. And the second line item was December 2021 services of PT 24, Squad 24, and Tower 24, $2,835. Okay. Next is from Jerome Fire Equipment and a whole lot of marketing material. Do we give them a form to fill out? Or do they kind of sort of do what they want to do here? Okay. All right. Sorry, just give me a second to read through this. I see 3 different spreadsheets here. The first engine and chassis PM estimate for 2009 Sutphin 1500 GPM pump. That comes to $2,598.25. The engine and chassis PM estimate for the 2006 E1 2000 GPM comes to $2,418.75. And the aerial estimate for the 1975 Mac aerial scope comes to a total of $2,432.50.
Can you give me those numbers again, Jason? 2098.
Absolutely. The Sutphin was $2,598.25. The 2006 E1 2000 GPM is $2,418.75. And the 1975 Mac aerial scope is $2,432.50. Now, these are phrased a bit differently. So, Greg, if it's all right with you, I would like to discuss with you later.
Yeah.
And just sort of collaborate and make sure we're dealing apples to apples here.
Okay.
Sound good? So I'm going to suggest we don't make a decision tonight on this until Greg and I have had a chance to go over this.
who done it last year?
Priority.
Priority? Okay.
Yeah, Priority was the first one I read off, and Jerome was the second.
Right.
Artie's been doing it for a few years now.
Okay,
And it's kind of awkward doing this over Zoom. Normally I would just hand you guys these and you could look at them.
Right.
But because I had to open it during the meeting, I don't have time to scan it and provide it for you to read. So I'm thinking if we just sort of, we'll look
We
it
will
over
share it
again.
with everybody for the next board meeting to make the final determination. How's that?
Exactly. Everybody go to that?
yeah.
Craig, did you have any specific questions while I'm here looking at these, or just you just want to wait until I can get them in your hands?
Yeah, we wait till I get over, get it in your hands. We can sit down and just make sure it's apples to apples. And I just got a couple of things I wanted to share quick. So far for the year, we're at 96 calls to date. The Memorial Day parade is on for this year. Last year with COVID and everything, I know it got pushed off. We'll kick off the normal time. 11 here at the village. We will not be going in the cemetery. We will loop around on Collins Street and then go back to the Legion where they'll have their normal cookout. And our ATV fundraiser is going on again this year. We're about a third of the way into it. And we've got just over half of our tickets sold already. So things are going good this year with the fundraiser again. We had members up at the auction last weekend and they sold roughly 300 tickets. So that's going to get good this year. So it's a little bit easier. Now we got the wheels moving from last year, know what to expect. So it's hopefully every year we continue it and do a little bit more and more with it. So things are going good. I don't know if anybody has any questions for me or.
If you could just respond back to me for the insurance questions I
Yep.
sent you, I would appreciate it because she's looking for me to get back to her.
Yeah. Yep.
I'd appreciate it. Thanks.
Anybody else have any questions for our chief? No?
By the way, Greg, Fran Leahy, she's new for our board, and Marv Lamerle is also new on the board.
Nice to meet you.
This is Greg. He's our fire chief.
I
Meet
do
you, Greg.
remember you, Greg.
Oh, yes, yes. In a while.
It's been a while, yeah.
Great. All right, Greg, I don't see any reason for us to keep you.
Okay.
Thank you for showing up, and I will discuss these with you when we get a sec.
And,
Okay, no problem. Everybody have a good
and we'll
night.
get you a copy sent to the rest of the board also. So, thanks, Greg.
Yep, have a good night.
You too.
Okay. All right, next three. I'm going to hand that over to Bob.
Oh, Bob,
Who's
you're
muted?
muted.
We're losing. Oh, we lost the thunder.
The
There we go.
thunder's gone.
There you go.
Which one are we doing?
This was the executive session. If you want to make that motion.
Or you could
Okay.
do the other motion, either
One
one.
part of it is contracts and the other part is employee.
Yes.
So I move we go into executive session to discuss two things, contract and have a discussion about employees.
Okay. Your motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Fran, second. Okay. A vote. Marv,
Yes,
Fran,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes,
and I'll vote yes. Okay.
You're back on.
Okay. I would like to entertain our first motion after coming out of executive session. Pick one.
I'll make the motion. We hire Mark C. for village inspector and preliminary as a conditional for both appointments for that as code enforcement.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Fran. Okay, vote. Marv,
Yes,
Fran,
Yes.
Bob,
yes.
and I'll vote yes. Any discussion on that matter? No. I will notify him tomorrow. Thank you all. And secondly, regarding our second matter, do I have a motion regarding that?
I'll also make the motion. We accept the 1% increase for the town of Barker for assistance with the fire budget.
Okay, so I'll resubmit the fire contract for a 1% increase. Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Fran seconds. Okay, I'll take it to vote. Marv,
Yes,
Fran,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. Thank you all. Okay, item number 4. We're gonna get through this quick, hopefully.
Before we go to 4, can we do,
Oh, you want to do Bob's, the correction there?
yeah, please.
Yeah, go ahead. So we have a resolution. It's a resolution.
Just a
correct?
motion.
Oh, just a motion? Okay.
I make a motion to correct the re-levy by authorizing the removal of a water re-levy on the property located at tax map number 035.06-1-20 and imposing the re-levy on the property at tax map number 035.05-1-20 due to a typographical error in the re-levy.
So basically, we're taking the re-levy off one bill and putting it on another because there was a typographical error in the process.
Okay. So that was a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll
I'll
second.
second it.
I think
Y'all know
Marv
I'm
beat you
not
to
that
it.
smart to come up with that on my own, so.
Okay. All righty. It always confuses me. We have discussion after we vote, but anyway, the vote, Marv,
Yes,
Fran,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes,
and I'll vote yes. Any discussion?
Just as a quick aside to that, there was legislation passed the other day, which has to do with the moratorium on utility shutoffs.
Mhm.
As part of that legislation, you can't impose liens anymore in connection with water bills. So it's unclear what exactly is going to happen with the tax re-levy in terms of what happens if the taxes don't get paid. So we'll probably wait and see what the county ends up doing on their end with that. But just so you're aware that even though this has been re-levied, it might not get paid for a while.
Thank you. Okay. Did that cover everything, Linda? As
Yep,
far as
that
that's
was-
concerned?
I just needed the
Oh.
motion to make the correction for the county.
Great. Thank you. Moving on, a quick discussion regarding garbage and recycling pickup canisters. Linda, do you want to get into this or do you want me to try and explain it?
Can you see that on my screen?
Yes.
All right, so what this is, it's a spreadsheet that's in the Dropbox for all of you. We took our sewer debt assessment breakdown by parcel by property in the village and broke it out by street for the garbage company. The street number, tax map ID number. The pickup actually is for, that specific property. There is one residential or one commercial. Some you will see will end up having, well, let me go back up here, like this one here has 4. That parcel actually has 2 businesses, 2 apartments. So they have 4
Entities.
entities within their building that will need garbage cans and recycle bins. So the next column shows the number of garbage bins, and then the next one shows the number of recycle bins that they will need for that specific building. The last column is if the business, the property actually has its own dumpster. And we actually have some businesses that are big that have dumpsters. For example, Tayson Enterprises over on Hickory Street, Wally Associates, such as the apartment building the other side of the river, Speedway, McDonald's, the school have their own dumpster. So that's how this is broken out. But this is basically a breakdown for all the properties, for the number of bins that are needed throughout the base, goes along with our bid that we sent out. And let me do this. If I go down to the last page, we bid 491 pickups. We actually have 504 properties. Of that, we only really at this time need 457 bins for garbage and 453 for recycle. What we're recommending is that those extra bins, some of them are being housed at the garage to make up if people call and say, hey, one bin's not going to be enough, or we're going to need more bins or something like that. So until we get into the swing of this whole process. But
Okay.
that's how the sheet's basically broken down. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions?
So it's essentially for your review. We are going to have some extras, which is not necessarily a bad thing here. We wanted to sort of give you a breakdown of how we were, sending additional bins to certain businesses?
So there's a couple things that are going to be questionable. The first one is the senior housing here on Strong Place. Right now, they do not have a dumpster for the apartment, the housing section. They actually have 24 apartments. So I stood and watched them, how many garbage cans they actually go through in a pickup. And they used about 6 when Blue Moose picked it up that 1 week. So at this point, I recommended 7 to cover them and then 4 recycle. We may have to play that, and so it may go up. They do not have room for 24 garbage bins and 24 recycle bins. They're not going to use that many based on what I saw, and they have no place to put them all. So, things like that are what we basically are going to have to just play it by ear and to a certain extent.
Yeah, that's the massaging that's happening to these numbers so that we can,
And
When
we're
this
playing-
happens, a lot of people will have unused garbage cans. Are they all recyclable? Like people have garbage cans, but they're not gonna need them anymore, right? Because the
they have
garbage
to put
company
them in
won't take
bins.
them.
Right. I
That's a
don't know
good
that
question,
answer your
yeah.
question, Fran. I'll have to ask that question of the garbage company. I honestly don't know.
Uh-huh.
maybe they can be left out in the first pickup. Who knows? We'll have
Right.
to see.
So we're playing some of these businesses by gash and by gosh, like Upstate Merch over here. He goes, when he has recycling, he will have a lot because of all the boxes from the shirts and stuff. So that one's number will be fluctuating. I mean, that very well may go up.
Yeah, and bear in mind, these are bigger containers too. Most
Right.
garbage bins are like 40, 50 gallon garbage cans, right? Whereas
Or
these I
less.
think are going to be
Right.
96 gallon containers.
They're
Yeah,
96 gallons.
they're huge,
96 or 95. It's something like that, but big.
huge.
And the recycling is going to be just as big, but the
Right.
pickup will be every other week.
Now we have had questions about, and once you guys have looked through this and blessed it, I will send this off to the garbage company and I will ask them your question, Fran, but I also am going to find out roughly what weeks are they looking at to do the recycling in terms of the recycle bin. Is it the first and third week, the second and fourth week? Is it every other week? Does it start the first week? So we have some kind of a direction we can let everybody know. We
Right.
don't know that answer yet. We just know every other week.
I'm
And will there be the same first Tuesday of the month for heavier stuff?
Yes, and they will.
That's
pick
gonna
that up.
be, but no more hazardous waste pickup. I understand. Right?
But
You can't let
electronics?
that out?
Right, there is no electronic recycling. Yes, you
Yeah,
can take
Okay.
the electronic recycling to the county landfill. And they,
But if you want to take it,
correct, but they will
Right.
not allow us to take it in this year.
and you have to take it in on their schedule if you want to do it for free.
Correct.
Okay. So the heavy waste, just for my memory, is twice in May and twice in October?
Correct.
Okay.
Franny makes a good point, Jason, about the people wanting to get rid of their current garbage cans.
Yeah, that is a good point.
I think it'd be worth finding out, Linda, if they'll take them, or whether we need to have our guys take them someplace. you
Right.
know?
I'm going to ask them
Self-included.
that tomorrow after you guys have had and go ahead and say yes to do this. So when I call Dana, the guy's name is Dana, for me to talk with. Because it is a very good question. I don't know.
Sounds to me that they'd have to have a flat ride truck to take all the old garbage cans instead of the regular a truck that lifts them up and dumps them in their bin. They can't do that with garbage
Yeah.
cans.
Right. And it may have to be our guys with the dump truck. I
Yeah.
don't know that
That's what I'm wondering. If our guys will have to take care of those.
Yeah, personally, I know I'll keep mine for yard waste, but
Yeah,
Some may, but
Yeah.
not everybody will.
I guess we'll give them
Maybe-
the option. It's a good idea.
And
But-
maybe a good idea is to have people, if they want to get rid of them, take them down to the village barn there so that they don't have to go all over town different times to pick them up.
Right.
Then they could just stockpile them down there and take a trip when they're free.
So I will ask tomorrow and I'll let y'all know.
Now, I see you've got dumpsters for some places. Is that just garbage or no
That they
recycling? in
pay
the
for their
dump-
own dumpster, so we don't, that they've arranged all that. I actually drove through the village and found who had dumpsters and who didn't. So
So
some of their
they pay,
dumpsters are with Taylor, some of are with Bert Adams already, some are with somebody
Okay.
else.
so that's their own deal there.
That's
Not,
their own
that's-
deal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Currently, we provide garbage services to tax-paying entities in the village,
yeah,
with the exception of the two churches who we provide services for, just not their extended
Residential?
properties.
Yeah,
So for example, the Baptist church owns some trailers,
Shiloh. Yep.
Shiloh, behind there. We do not cover their garbage pickup in this. They would make a separate arrangement with, well, they had a separate arrangement with Blue Moose, and I imagine they will have to make a separate arrangement with Bert Adams with regards to that going forward. And the daycare is a non-for-profit. They have their own,
Aiello's
Dumpsters.
has their own,
you know, and some businesses choose to have their own
right? The
in
schools
addition
have
to
their
what we
own.
provide.
well,
I'm curious about the dumpster at the Catholic church. Is that part, oh, that's outside the village, isn't
Outside
it?
the village.
Aha, all right. Asking the wrong question.
to avoid confusion, a Baptist church up there with their other trailer park people, have they been notified who the contract is going to be? So
Yes.
there's no confusion?
Yep. Sandy Martin is a member of that parish. Sorry, Sandy Bennett's a member of that parish. And
Okay,
she was informing them.
okay.
So, do we need to act on anything tonight on this, Linda,
I
or was
just
this
want
just?
to, if you're good with it, then I will go ahead and get a hold of Dana at the Bert Adams tomorrow. That's all I just needed
Okay.
to know.
Sounds good to me. Does anybody else have any other questions or anything they want to talk about with regards to the garbage? That is coming up. They will be delivering the bins
Next week,
the week of the 17th.
next week.
I imagine with directions as well, and on those, as far as where to leave the bins so that they can be picked up easily.
They're supposed to have attached to it a packet of directions for every place.
Right.
Every residence, every business with every can. So
Right. Okay,
Okay,
excellent. So that's it for number 4. Number 5, old business. Not too much here. First, just a reminder, we're going to be doing our energy upgrades like we discussed last time. The first is going to be the LED lighting upgrade in the sewer treatment plant. That will be happening on June 4th. And that will contribute towards our points for our clean energy community status. Also, Linda has been doing some research and asking Ken and Dave Conklin, trying to ascertain whether or not the training they've already received would qualify us for the clean energy training that we're required to take for the stretch goals. We haven't quite gotten an answer on that yet, but we're in the midst of trying to figure that out. So just following up on what we were talking about at the last meeting. Okay. Any other old business? No. Moving on to new business. First thing, I spoke to Aubrey Peterson at the Weathered Thread down here in the Railroad Building. She would like to do her vendor show again this year, like she did last year. Essentially closing Railroad Street for the day so they can set up tables. Because that is not a permanent arrangement, I have asked her to submit an updated site plan for our review. And she agreed she will get back to me with regards to when that's ready so we can put her on the agenda at a future meeting. But I wanted to give you a heads up that is coming.
I believe he's already advertising for that too.
Is she already? Well,
So,
what is the date she's gonna do that?
I'm not exactly sure. That's all going to be part of the plan she's going to present.
August something.
Oh, August,
But if
okay.
she's advertising, I imagine she's already set on it.
Yep.
Okay.
Uh,
So I will speak with her about that. But again, we accepted it last year, but we're under no obligation to do so again this year or going forward. My impression was this was a COVID measure we were doing to try and help our local businesses. We are under no obligation to keep doing that year to year, but it's a nice thing. She gets quite a bit of turnout. I think she said she had over 2,000 people last year. And she is going so far as to make sure all of her neighbors are aware, and she's arranging parking with Dan Baker so that, she's trying to get all these things taken care of. So it's less of a burden on the village, which is nice. So, but she will be on the agenda at a later date. Okay. Second would be the LWRP meeting Bob and I attended yesterday, which was fairly uneventful.
Mercifully short.
Mercifully short. Yeah. I actually did not realize the scope of this project. I was only really aware that the project that was happening by the Daughters of the American Revolution Memorial. I didn't realize that was part of a larger LWRP status, I guess, for the whole village. We had to define the boundaries of future LWRP projects, which we defined to just be the village boundaries. And a timetable specifically for that particular project. And it looks like they're going to be doing some analysis and investigation on the actual river and who would be affected by this project. And they're going to get back to us in a couple months. So it sounds like we're on hold for a few months before there's going to be any updates on that.
So who does the investigation?
This is Toma Development. There are
Oh,
grant writers.
Toma, okay.
And we're scheduled to have some actual public meetings, not just of our what do they call it? The OWC, Bob, the waterfront,
Yeah,
Water
yeah, that's it.
we are a small committee. We're like the primary committee, but they do want to bring it in front of the public to discuss, to see what their opinions are on the project as well. And those should be in the fall, just to give us an idea of timetable.
I think one of the responses to one of my questions yesterday gave me the impression that we're somewhat unique in that we seem to have gotten a specific project approved prior to going through this larger process under the direction of the Department of State to define the waterfront and all this stuff. Not that it doesn't happen that way, but it's fairly unique. And I think it's the same thing that caught me off by surprise as well. That I just thought we were meeting to talk about getting the actual project we submitted and was approved and funded, getting that going. No. We need to put all this other stuff around the project that was already approved. So,
right. So we're actually going to have a status of an LWRP community, so that.
What does LWRP stand for? I lost you.
Lake and Waterfront Rehabilitation or Revitalization
project or something.
I can get the exact wording. It's
Is that along the river or where?
I think it's programmed.
Yeah, program. It's basically how our village interacts with the waterways.
Right.
Right.
And you'll see this right now with a lot of municipalities. I believe the city of Binghamton is doing one down in the city. They're doing a walkway along the river there. And so you'll hear that on the news. So a lot of municipalities that have rivers and things in their community. I think the county's doing something also, aren't they?
Yeah, and so is Cortland County.
Yeah, and
County
so
is trying to,
tying some of these walks together and stuff.
yes, they're trying to tie all these.
Is this about the walkway up the west side of the lake or Dorchester
Nope.
Lake?
Nope,
Nothing to do with
not
that?
us.
That's not what we're specifically at yet, but they certainly in the future, that would be something that we can look to do.
We're making that sort of thing possible by opening ourselves up to this and accepting this program.
By attending these meetings.
By attending these meetings, right. And then this will allow us specifically to do the one thing that we were approved for, and that was the walkway and possibly the boat launch underneath the new bridge.
I keep hoping I live long enough.
Going up the east side of Route 11 all the way up towards Kybel, I believe, hopefully. So, and I think the only real negative that I got from it was because anytime we do a site plan review in the future, like we have to do environmental reviews. The new guys don't know about that yet, but there's a thing called a seeker where anytime we do any sort of site plan review, we have to evaluate whether or not it has a negative impact on the environment. We'll also now need to make sure that any site plan also reflects our goals as part of this LWRP program to make sure they're not conflicting in any way. So minor, but just something extra we got to do. Lots of fun. You guys are all welcome to come to the meetings if you'd like. The turnout was not amazing.
How many
Hopefully we-
people were there?
2,
Bob, me, and I think Bob Gardner,
3.
Oh,
who had some very good questions. But again, I hope that we have a little bit better turnout. Since this is going to be the core committee, you know, if they have to talk to anybody between public meetings, it's going to be us. So
mhm. And is this a state program and state money?
I do not know the answer to
I
that.
believe it is.
Yes.
The
Okay,
money
thank
came
you.
out of, is coming out of the
For the
state.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, this is David's baby. which-
From when he was mayor
the first time.
6 years ago, 8 years ago.
Wow.
That's how
So-
long this has been. That's why Bob made his comments.
It's been so long that I don't remember any of the specifics of the project. That's how long it's been. I was hoping I would have my memory refreshed by attending these meetings, but so far, no.
Hopefully
Okay.
soon we'll get some more details. It'll be nice. Okay, so enough of that. Moving on, we've got a couple new businesses opening up in the village I wanted to make you all aware of. The Crafternoon Shop is a crafting store that's opened up in the Railroad Street building between Upstate Merch and the Weathered Thread. I stopped by and welcomed them to our community. I
What
think
was the
it's
title again, please?
the Crafternoon Shop.
Crafternoon?
Like the word craft and a play with the word afternoon. So yeah.
Oh, I see.
So I welcome to the community and wish them good luck. We also have a Five and Dime opening up in Baker's building, correct, Linda?
Yep,
It's, and,
probably the first week of June, I believe.
Who is that doing that?
The building's owned by Dan Baker. But
Right.
the people with the business, I believe, are the same ones that own the one in Green.
Must be they figure they can compete with the Dollar General.
maybe. So, but I will reach out when they get closer to their opening weekend and yeah, maybe
Is
I'll
that
put
a
it as well.
building on Main Street?
Yes, it's the
No.
old man Waring building.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where they had the state DOT offices in there for the
Yeah,
bridge work.
Ladybug Florist was there a while ago.
Yes.
So there's that. Okay, and the last new business is going to be hopefully not too much of a discussion, but something I wanted to let you know about. I did receive a complaint from Ashley Kenyon, who lives on Hickory Street, 79. I did include a copy of that letter in the Dropbox. I'm not sure how much Nate had a chance to look at it before, and I don't know how much you'll be on the hook for here, Bob.
I don't think Nate looks at Dropbox, Jason.
No, I actually CC'd Nate on
Okay.
this correspondence because I wasn't exactly sure where things were legally, and I wasn't sure how quickly I'd get a response from Ken. But essentially, she wants to put in a pool, and after some delay, she was notified by Ken sort of at the last minute before she was planning on getting the pool installed this week that she could not do so. That because the pool is in a floodplain, that she could not put the pool in. It's a simple above ground pool. After which she wrote me a letter, which I included as well. I'm not going to summarize it. You guys can read it for yourselves. She was concerned that, you know, as anybody would be, that she's been put in a bad position because of this. She saw lots of neighbors with swimming pools, and she attested that she's not seen the floods come over the bank of her property since she's lived there. I did take a moment to respond, well, a long moment to respond, trying to explain things. I used it as an opportunity, since I'm not terribly familiar with this, to try and ascertain what the problem is. And it does seem that you are not allowed to build a pool in a floodplain as per FEMA regulations, mainly because of like the electrical and the possible hazard the structure of the pool could cause in the event of a flood. Ken assured me that the only way to get around that, because it is a FEMA regulation supposedly enforced by the New York State DEC, and this is all coming from Ken, so if I'm quoting this wrong, that's where we need to go to get corrected. He said the only way we can get around it is for the New York State DEC to sign off on it, and they would most likely require an engineering plan attesting to the structural integrity of this pool and the fact that all the electrical work, which has to be installed permanently, would be above flood level. Is this all gibberish? Am I making sense here?
Oh, you're making
Oh,
sense.
I'm just enjoying Bob's light going on.
So she would need to contact the DEC to see what the requirements would be for them to sign off on this project. And I imagine there would be significant cost as far as engineers involved and possible time delays as well. And I summarized all that in my letter, and I gave them some initial contact information for the DEC so that she'd have a place to start. She did call me this evening and said she got a hold of somebody from the DEC in the Kirkwood office, and he is going to be framing a response.
Aha.
So I am not entirely sure that this response will agree with what I have been told, but I'll wait until I get it and I will pass it on when I do. But that's where things stand. I wanted to make sure you're all aware.
All right.
This is the fun stuff they don't tell me about when you wanted the job of mayor that you have to deal with. So yeah, not much to do there. I just wanted to keep you apprised. And that is it for me for new business. Is there anything I'm forgetting, Linda?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Then we're going to call this at less than an hour. Thank goodness.
Unless anybody else has anything new.
Anybody else have any new business before we wrap it up for the evening? Going once? Going
So
twice?
the next meeting is the 26th. That'll be our last meeting of the fiscal year. So I would just guesstimate that you're probably going to have a lot of vouchers, because if there's money that's left in their accounts, they're going to try to spend some of that money to get things. Just an FYI for you. So your abstract may be bigger than normal.
Okay. Anybody else?
So noted.
Okay, just letting you know.
Okay. Well, aside from that, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for coming. Robert, thank you for attending in Nate's stead.
You're welcome.
Wish you all a good evening.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
Take care.